He is Lord. He is Lord. He is risen from the dead, and He is Lord. Oh, every knee shall bow, every tongue confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. He is Lord. He is Lord. He is Lord. He has risen from the dead, and He is Lord. Every knee shall bow, every tongue confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. Oh, 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 Jesus Christ is Lord. Jesus Christ is Can't make me doubt Him. Had to realize that I'm nothing without Him. Yeah, didn't have to do it, but I'm glad He did. Yeah. You made the lame, I made the blind see. On the cross, you let Him die for me. No, I never felt a greater love. I thank God for sending You from above. You have all power in Your hand. You destroyed the devil's plan, and You didn't have to do it, but I'm glad You did. So glad You did. Say what you want, you can do what you will, but as long as I live, I'm living for You. I'm living for You. Everything that I do it for You. Yeah. Don't mistake my groove. This groove is for You. Owe it all to You. Some people may not believe. I believe in You. I believe in You. I believe in You. Oh, Jesus Christ is Lord. Oh, Jesus Christ is Lord. Oh, Jesus Christ is Lord.
What is going on, good people? It is your man in the building, Demetrius Toll-Free, D-Toll, if you know me personally, and I am glad to be in the house one more time. Welcome back to another edition of Shop Talk, everyone's favorite show, right here on everyone's favorite network. Listen, I want to welcome all types of people who are hanging out with us live whether you're doing it on Facebook or YouTube. We want to welcome you, as well as those of you who might be hanging out with us with on our syndicated radio partners. We want to welcome you to Shop Talk. This is our once a week hourly show where we bring you the best in gospel music, as well as keep you abreast of what is hot and happening in the news. Again, my name is Demetrius Tolfree. Those of you who are looking at me, you can see it right there. And you know you can follow me always, everything social media at DTolfree, at DTOLEFREE. And would love to hear from you. Would love to be able to have you follow me. Of course, you know, I do the courtesy follow back, and we'll make things happen. Those of you who are tuning in maybe for the first time, you're trying to figure out what in the world am I tuned into? Don't worry, I got you covered. Let me tell you, Shop Talk is that good barbershop. You know it, that beauty shop. You know what happens, that coffee shop, that nail shop, that can I shit it? Thank you. I started thinking about Krispy Kreme, that donut shop talk, y'all, where literally no person and no subject is off limits. Today is going to be a great day. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. First of all, shout out to Doobie Powell with the opening song of the day that he presented to us. Listen, he is Lord, and I agree with him. He definitely is Lord, and he's risen from the dead. And yes, he is Lord. So shout out to Doobie Powell for that great, great remake that he has put forth. And listen, we've got a ton of things on tap. Now, I do have a couple comments or a couple things I want to mention. Shout out to Cambria Mayfield, who is tuned in from YouTube. Cambria, glad to have you hanging out with us. And we'll have so many other people joining. Those of you who are watching us, they're watching us live, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube, feel free to chime in on the chats, and we will do all that we can to bring those words that you put on the screen, bring them to life by putting them on the screen here live in the studio room. All right, y'all, we have got a lot of stuff to talk about. Shout out to LA Jackson. What is going on? Glad to have you hanging out as well. Those of you who are watching, you can see that we put something down at the bottom where we want you to be able to share today's stream. If you're on Facebook, share today's stream and tag 3 people so they can be able to join in the conversation. We've got some great things to talk about. Actually, we even have a special guest today. I don't do this often, but today we do have a special guest, and we will get him up and running with us in just a few moments. But before we do anything, those of you who are on social media, and shout out to David Jones. What's up, David Jones? Glad to have you in here. Man, we didn't get a chance to hang out last Monday for the Apple event, but we'll get a chance to talk a little bit about it. But those of you who are on social media, would love to have you follow Shop Talk, FDR Shop Talk. That is on Facebook. That's on Twitter if you use it, as well as on Instagram. Everything for us is at FDR Shop Talk, at FDR Shop Talk. SHOPTALK, FDR Shop Talk. We would love to have you be able to follow us and be able to make things happen with us on social media. We're going to be sharing some more exclusive content. And we're thinking about, I've seen a lot of people start to do this where you can now go live on Instagram. We're thinking about instituting that into what we do. I know that our special guest that we have a little later on, he does that with a show that he does. And I said, man, I got to be able to step my game up and to be able to also stream on the Instagram, the gram as it's called. But listen, we've got an incredible show lined up for you. Now, before we bring up our co-host, I want to do just a couple of things. I just want to do a couple of things. Again, I've already thanked everybody, but I didn't tell you to do what I need you to do. And you know what that is? You know it. You got to get on the phone, call, text, tweet, Facebook, MySpace, Instagram, Social Cam, Periscope, Marco Polo, Threads, whatever it might be. But tell your mama named Ray Ray, Shay Shay, Day Day, Delicious Nim, Nut Nut Nim, Pojo Nim. Let them all know that we are streaming live on the Shop Talk family of networks on Facebook as well as on YouTube. And again, welcome to our radio partners from around the country. We're glad to have you. All right, y'all. With that being said, let's get ready to get things going today. And I'm going to start by doing today's National Day. Today's National Day. And I've got 4. Normally I'd have about 3, but today I got an extra one. So in terms of today's National Day, today is National Apple Dumpling Day. National Apple Dumpling Day. For those of you who like apple dumplings, today is your day to go out and get an apple dumpling. So shout out to those who like that. I enjoy apple dumplings from time to time. It's all good. So if that is your thing, today's your day. Go out and celebrate National Apple Dumpling Day. Secondly, today is, I like this one. Today is National IT Professionals Day. IT Professionals Day. So if you know someone or have a friend that is in IT and they are a professional at doing it, why don't you just send them a shout out and say, hey, today is your day. Happy National IT Professionals Day. I wonder, based on what I do at work, do I fall in that? I think maybe I fall into that category. So maybe it's my day as well. So anyway, shout out to all the IT professionals. Thirdly, it is, you know what? Actually, this is our last one. Lastly, today is National Country Music Day. I like this one. Country Music Day. Now, normally we wouldn't, spend time on it, but the world is changing in terms of how music is going. Even gospel music people are starting to dabble into country music. Yes, sir. And we want to make sure that we celebrate and mention that today is National Country Music Day. So if you fall in any of those categories, whether apple dumplings is your thing, or if you're an IT professional, or if you're into country music, today is your day. And we are grateful to be able to mention that. All right, y'all, we're going to keep things going. And as we keep things going, we're going to get ready to bring up our first co-host out in, nope, she's not in Pittsburgh. Out in Hercules of California. I don't know why I keep wanting to put her in Pittsburgh. There has to be something in Pittsburgh for her. But anyway, let's bring up my co-host. We're going old school today because I'm bringing her up first because that's just how we roll. My homie and yours, the incredibly talented Ashlyn Tara Cole in the building. Ashlyn, I don't know what's in Pittsburgh, but I'm trying to get you there. What's going on?
I don't either. I'm trying to figure out what is in Pittsburgh. I don't even, isn't there like a power plant or something like that in Pittsburgh? What in the heck is in Pittsburgh? I don't even know, y'all. But I don't go to Pittsburgh, so maybe I just need to do a drive-by. Maybe I just need to just drive through the neighborhood and toot toot, as you like to say. Maybe I need to do that. I need to be like, hooty hoo. Yeah, maybe maybe I need to do that. I don't know. What in the world could be in Pittsburgh for me? I have no idea.
I don't know.
Hercules, California. Hercules.
Yeah, my bad. I'm gonna get that straight. I'm gonna put a sticky note on my computer so I can remember that next time. But speaking of Hercules, up the street from you, make a right, another right, go up the hill, look to the left. There's a red door. Knock on that door and then tap on that window pane.
Come on.
Yeah, you can knock on the door.
You better sing this morning.
You can find Ashlyn's bestie. My guy is also in the building. Ja'Cory Proto in the building. Ja'Cory, man, what is going on?
Good morning. Good morning.
All right, here. Okay. All right.
I'm trying to wake up. What's going on with the weather? I don't know. I mean, my light bulb is shining real nice on me right here, but it's cold outside.
It is. It is.
It is a little breezy. You know why? Because
I thought it was
summer's
raining.
over. Summer's over. It's
wow.
Is it autumn? Do we still call it autumn, or we call it fall?
Autumn.
Where's that song? And when the summer's gone, you could not be found, and the winter came. Come on, Stevie. Okay, sorry.
Okay, I ain't mad at you. So now I sang it. So here's what I like. I sang a note. Ja'Cory sang a note.
Yeah.
Ashlyn sang a note.
Yeah.
Let's get ready to pick up our next co-host all the way across country in Charlotte of North Carolina. She's going to have to come on and sing a note, but she is our graphic designer extraordinaire, a wonderful singer, all-around smart person, thanks to her mama and her dad, of course. Let's bring her up without further ado, my homegirl and yours, Yolanda Wild Praise Moran in the building. Yolanda, what's going on? Everybody sang a note. What's on your heart? You got to come in with a note.
80 songs from this weekend. God, what do you think?
So it's just one in every group. Does that mean you can't sing a note because you sang 80 songs already? Or
Yeah. Yeah.
I cannot. I cannot.
Okay, so good morning. First, good morning. Oh, it's good morning for y'all. It's good afternoon. I want to say this again. I think it is so amazing. We be so late sometimes. I think it is so amazing that Lisa Page Brooks is getting so much love. I really do. I think that's so beautiful. She now has 5 million views.
Nice.
On that thing.
I'm not mad at it. Actually, should.
You should see how many views on my little rededication. It's redonkulous.
Yeah.
I think it's so beautiful. Like, but it's the crazy part. She's been singing like this since I was a child.
She's been singing like that. You're right. You are exactly right. I met her face to face before she even married the bishop. Before she married Michael, I had met her in Los Angeles for an event, and she was singing and killing back then. She was with Witness back at that point, and this was before she married Michael Brooks. And man, she goes a long way. Anyway, listen, great. I'm glad to have all 4 of you. We've got a lot of stuff going on. Matter of fact, you know what? Today, unusually so, we have a special guest. Before I bring him up, I want to give a shout out to Yolanda Proko. Mama Yolanda is in the building. Also want to give a shout out to Tracy J. Wilson hanging out with us on YouTube. What's going on, Tracy? Pastor Bill Carter in the building hanging out with us on Facebook. Said he's been MIA for a while, but he's here today, and you could not have came on a better day. Listen, we know that there's been a lot of things. I'll do my birthdays. I'll come back to that in just a minute. But we know that there's a lot of things that have been happening. Last week when we had the show, we was talking about the passing of James Earl Jones, who had passed at the age of 93. And today, as we start talking about death, I hate that we have to do it, but allow me to mention just in brevity, but I do not want to go any further without mentioning the passing of the great Tito Jackson, who closed his eyes, one of the great Jackson 5. Man, to see that he closed his eyes. Matter of fact, I didn't even realize he was born the same year as my oldest sister. And just know that he closed his eyes. Incredible musician. Never got into any trouble that I can remember. He was just always, even keel, low key, come and handle my business, do my part, go home, see y'all next time type guy. And we just want to stop and just mention the passing of a great musician, a great all-around person, part of the Jackson 5, Tito Jackson, closed his eyes at the age of 70.
Papa T. Those that were close to him called him Papa T. And it's been beautiful to see. I didn't know him personally, but I know a lot of musicians that have worked with him over the years, and just to see all the tributes that have been coming in young musicians. This is a tough week because it's James Earl Jones and Tito Jackson, and I'm sure you're getting ready to go into the next icon that we are mourning this week as well.
Absolutely. We lost another great and amazing musician, artist, all around great person from the Bay, actually, and made things happen all the time. And anytime he went somewhere, he didn't even have to do the singing. We bought tickets to sing for him. An amazing artist.
I love that.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know what? I normally do all this type of talk about it, but Ashlyn, you're one of the well-versed people. Why don't you introduce or mention the last artist that has passed on? I just want to give it to you for a moment.
Well, I did have the opportunity to meet Frankie Beverly on the Tom Joyner cruise of all places. I was there with, of course, Larry Graham. Those of you that know, I tour with him, and Frankie Beverly and Anthony Hamilton and Tom Joyner, and like just a bunch of OGs were just around on this cruise one night. I happened to be walking by, and much to my surprise, Frankie Beverly said, "Biscuit." Those that know, that's my nickname. And they invited me to come sit, and we just talked and hung out. It was just so amazing just to sit there and be in the presence of greatness, but also kindness. Yay! To be around greatness, but kindness. And that's really what it was. Of course, Frankie Beverly was born in Philly, everybody's trying to claim him. We claim him out here in the Bay. He lived out here, but he's from Philly. And then New Orleans, there's a little thing going back and forth between Philly and New Orleans on social media today. But New Orleans claims him as well. But to know him was to love him. And so we just have the opportunity to have somebody that was close to him on as a special guest today. I'm excited to just have this conversation with him.
Absolutely. I love it. And all of us, we know many people who have got a chance to play with Frankie Beverly. Obviously, the great Carl Wheeler plays, yes. And I think still plays with the group. Jubu Smith, incredible guitarist. We've known him for many years and have played for Frankie Beverly as well, and so many others. But today we actually happen to have a good friend of mine. Now he's originally from New Jersey area, New York area, but now abides in Las Vegas. And drummer extraordinaire. Maybe y'all may all not know this.
Yes.
He before he played bass, he was a drummer, and he gives me that Joel Smith type vibes where he's mastered drums, he's mastered bass, and plays for everybody all around the country. But today, he is with us today, and I want to bring you up my guy, Kevin Stansel, in the building today. Kevin Stansel, bro, man, we are glad to have you hanging in with us, man. What is going on, bro?
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. It's good to be here. Glad to see everybody. Thank you.
Yeah. Now, first of all, you're not gonna come in here trying to throw all my ladies off.
The bass, man. The bass.
Yeah, you're not gonna come on here trying to throw everybody off with these voices and stuff like that. But I'm glad to have you, man.
But Kevin can sing. So Kevin, you sing a note. We all sang a note coming on here today. So Kevin, come on, a note.
Hey, man, I'm off the clock. I'm home. I don't sing at the
house. Kevin Stansel, a great friend of mine. Now, I'm gonna let y'all know a little secret. Me and Kevin wasn't always great friends, but we grew up and we matured. And as we grew up and matured, we became great friends. I have a great respect for him for what he does. He has a respect for me. We're on mutual ground. And you know what? Let me just say something real quick. Just because things don't start out the way that you want them to in terms of a friendship, relationship, whatever it may be, don't let that stunt the growth of what can possibly be. I'm gonna say that again. Don't let issues and things of the past stunt the growth of what can possibly be. Kevin Stansel is one of the greatest musicians that you're going to know, and I am grateful not only to call him friend, but now I call him my bro. This is a guy that I can call on if I need him. I believe that he'll be there for me in the time of trouble or just in the time of need. And man, I am glad to have you hanging out with us. Now, before we go any further, oh man, it's all love, baby. Before we go any further, we do have our other co-host with us. Not sure where he is today. He's normally in ATL. I can't tell where he is right now, but let's get ready to bring him up. Ashton, don't get mad. Don't be hating. But let's get ready to bring him up because he has his own theme music. Yeah, we all know him.
Beachy got a theme song though. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah. You gotta have a theme song, and my dude is in the building. Those of you who watch BFF, you already know that he calls himself Big Meat. Let's pick him up. Without further ado, my guy Demetrius Hunter in the building. Demetrius, what is going on? Welcome to the show.
Hello. Good morning. Good afternoon.
Why you need luck? You got Jesus. Why you need luck when you got Jesus, BG?
What? Because Jesus is my luck. I know what's gonna happen.
Carry on.
I wish you would just wish me luck.
I love you. I'm not gonna wish you luck. I'm gonna wish you Jesus. That's what I'm gonna wish you.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I'm glad to have you hanging out with us, man. But we got Kevin Stansel on with us again.
I see we got Kevin Stansel up on here. It's so good to see this OG on here. You know, I was like 16 when Kevin was my music teacher. You know, I'm grown now.
Wow.
We OGs. You know you were right when somebody say OG. You like, I don't want to live it.
Listen, Kevin
I like to live, but I'm an OG. Hilarious.
Okay.
Well, as we're talking about the great Kevin Stansel, I wanted to take a moment and maybe everybody who's on here, and maybe those who are listening, not only is he a great musician, great all-around guy, but he comes from great stock. His mother, the incredible Lorraine Stansel. Oh my God, singer extraordinaire. Now, Kevin, we didn't come on here to talk about your mama, man. But what is it? How was it growing up with one of the most talented women on earth? What was that like?
To this day, I'm still afraid of that lady. Still afraid of her to this day. There's
really? She didn't lay hands on y'all, did she, growing up?
Oh, she wore me out. I deserved it though.
You deserved it.
Yeah, she wore us out. What a lot of people don't know, my mom just recently, back in June, retired after 37 years of being a school teacher.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so all the stages that you guys saw her on, and all the pulpits she was going to across the country and around the world, for that matter, she would go to work right after.
Wow.
She wouldn't go home and wait for the next gig to happen. She would sometimes take her luggage to the school and put it in the closet somewhere, and she'd finish out the day and go home.
Wow.
Growing up in that house with my mother being a school teacher, school was hard because she was there most of the time. It wasn't easy. I didn't get away with too much at all. I think I came to Oakland. When I moved to Oakland, I was just like, oh, she's not here. I can just do what I want to do.
Yeah.
But it was hard. But my mother was, if ain't nobody else going to heaven, I think my mother is.
Yeah, I'm with you.
She was one of them people you couldn't come around her and play games when it came to God. So that's what it was. But hey, she believed in what she sang about. So that's what that was. But I was scared of her. She was one of the strongest women I know. She would pick up anything that wasn't nailed down. And, she would make sure that it was very effective. Her words were very effective, very effective. So as much as I know that, she loved us and she did what she did out of love, I just wish she didn't love us that much sometimes. But,
yeah, man, I know the story. I know the feeling, man.
Cool.
So yeah, hey, it's all good. I'm super glad to have you hanging out here with us, man. Now, the one thing I want to ask you, now we know that you have been for the last, I don't know, how was it been, a couple years? Or
it's been a year and 3 months now.
Wow. Yeah. So you were able to tour and be the basis for the great. I mean, I know Frankie Beverly is he went through some transitions with his voice, man, but nobody could put on a show like him, man. I'm telling you, what was that whole thing like, man? Being able to bring your musical gift and be able to play with one of the greats of music of all time.
Well, first of all, a lot of people don't know this story. It's a very quick one. I can probably do it in 20 seconds.
Do you think?
Back in 2010, I actually auditioned for the band on drums. And I didn't get it because I didn't really know the show. Another guy who was there for 13 years named Calvin Napper. Calvin became the drummer. He and I auditioned the same time on the same day. And I didn't get it. So 13 years later, I was home after celebrating my 50th birthday. I came back here to Vegas and I was home and I was in my kitchen. And I got a phone call and it said Carl Wheeler. And I was like, I'm either getting ready to go to Oakland, I'm going to get ready to do a track for somebody. Something get ready to happen. All right, well, let me go ahead and answer the phone. And Carl called and he said, are you doing anything this weekend? Now, I have to tell y'all that week, I had called everybody that weekend and said, I can't do anything this weekend and had no idea why. I never said anything to any of them. I just said, I can't do anything this weekend. Carl called me and said, can you come to New Orleans? And I said, when? He said, tomorrow. I said, I just got home. I said, what's going on? He said, I need you to come play for Frankie Beverly. We went out to New Orleans. We rehearsed for a day and maybe 4 hours. And then once we actually, learned the show pretty much, I did the show that Sunday thinking that I was coming home going, I finally did it. I played for Frankie Beverly. I could go on now. I'm fine. About a week later, they called me and asked if I would like to be a member of the band. And I said, yes. Our first week of rehearsal, I went to Frankie and I said, I tried out for the band for you back in 2010. He said, you did? I said, yeah. I said, y'all didn't give me the gig. And he put his head down for a minute. He looked at me and said, "Well, that means I wasn't ready for you yet."
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, careful.
And I looked at him. I put my head down. I made a left, and I went back in that room and minded my business for the rest of the day. So that's that story.
Yeah.
And to this day, to be there now, even at this point, I couldn't imagine it at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's really a blessing, man. I mean, you've been afforded some opportunities that other musicians can only dream of. You know, I remember when you were doing your thing with Kurt Carr and going around the country playing with Kurt Carr. Now, was your mother with the group when you were playing with them, or not yet?
No, she hadn't gotten there yet. I was long gone when my mom was asked to come back, but periodically she would sing with Kurt every now and again. So that's how he knew who she was. But as far as her being a fixture, she's been there for about maybe, 12 years now. But
Wow.
I know when I was there, this was back in the early 2000s. I got with Kurt Carr in 2000, actually.
Okay.
Because I remember we came back to Bishop Hawkins' birthday celebration in 2002. And it was good to play at Love Center with Kurt Carr, but I was looking at Kurt like, don't get it twisted. This is where it all started for me. So
yeah, absolutely.
Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, good stuff, man. And I remember even you playing on the that Byron Cage album, right?
Yeah.
Don't do that, man. The ever popular Byron Cage album, man. He was playing bass, and that whole album took fire, man. And I'm not gonna ask you about any of the backroom stuff and all those kind of things, because I'm sure
you can go ahead. I'll answer it. Go ahead.
No, it's okay.
You can.
That's not what I brought you for.
I'm ready.
I wouldn't do that.
Go
too.
ahead.
But Ashland, I know
myself if you want to.
No, it's all good. I'm not going to do it. Ashland, I know you have a great
next question, please.
Yeah, there you go. Ashland, I know you have a question for Kevin. I know he's your homie. What question do you have for Kevin today?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, fun fact, Kevin, I go back to Robert Weaver. We actually worked together on that live recording, and we met at that time. So I don't even know how many years ago that is. That's
almost 20-some years ago.
It's double digits for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So my thing is knowing what it's like to tour with an icon and knowing that there were people before you, and sometimes there's people after you. And, there's always the original band. Like in my case, it's Larry Graham. And so the original band is, of course, Sly and the Family Stone, that I don't lay any claim to at all. And then Grand Central Station came out of that. And there were musicians that played with him for 20 plus years that started it all, went through the highs and the lows and paid dues with him and all that stuff. And then the seasons change. And the art sound changes and opportunities change. And sometimes people attitudes change. And circumstantially, people end up at the table for all kinds of reasons, And because we're people of faith, we know it's all God orchestrated. It's all of it is a God thing. And so I know that just from watching your social media over this last week, first of all, I want to offer our condolences for you, because I don't want to get that phone call about Larry Graham. Right. So I know what that feels like. I can imagine what that feels like for you.
Yeah.
But people have a lot to say, and people are like, it's not the time to be hateful or to be throwing, jabs or anything like that. But what has this been like for you to have carried the legacy to the finish line, and then to have people be less than grateful? In some cases, I don't say everybody, but I'm saying in some cases, people have taken the opportunity to now criticize for things that they shouldn't at this time.
Yeah. Here's the reality. First off, and I said this before and I will say this again, if you did not start it, you are not the original, period. There's absolutely nothing else to say about that. I am not an original. I will never be. I'm not even the middle person who was there for the duration of time that a lot of those guys were. I was at the finish line, as you put it, and as you stated, I was at the end. And realistically, I think people kind of took what I said on my social media the wrong way. What I know about us as people is we hear what we want to hear. If something looks a certain way, we respond a certain way because that's just how we feel at that moment. The reality is, and I'll say it again, is that we are not the original band members. The band that came before us are not original members. They were there for a good tenure of the group, but they are not the original members. And all I was conveying was that we have to be careful about calling ourselves originals. Just because we spent a good time there, we have to not forget who started all of this. We have to not dismember or discount the individuals who were there that actually started it, and we watched them as kids and babies, you know, growing up. When a lot of Frankie Beverly's music was written and penned, you know, I wasn't even here. So for me to turn around and take it upon myself to say, because I played for this individual, I am an original. No. I'll be even further, you know, candid. You know, I didn't listen to Frankie Beverly, you know, a lot of times because I was an Earth, Wind, and Fire head. If it wasn't Maurice White, I didn't want to hear it. But as time went on and as I got a little bit older, especially coming up in New York and New Jersey, a lot of people played this music. I kept saying, why do y'all like this music? Who is this? Who is this? Not knowing that 30 years later, I would be standing right here with him. And I'm like, oh, this is what you guys were talking about. So, you know, as a result of that, you know, all I said was we have to be careful. Let us not call ourselves and try to dismember the ones who were there before us. That's all. That's all I was saying. And I'll be nice on here because this is not my page. But, you know, realistically, I just wanted to be understood that, you know, we can't count out the guys who, you know, started this music, and you see the stages, and we're going back to the early 70s, you know, they started this. So we have to be very careful of that.
Yeah. And I think that, you know, what happens sometimes is that people get lost in the watch, right? They recognize the first and they recognize the last. And oftentimes in the middle, Rusty is a bass player that played for, you know, Sly and the Family Stone, that very seldom gets his flowers because he wasn't in the beginning and he wasn't in the end, right? That's just one example of many, many musicians. And so I think, you know, with the unsung heroes, why are we taking jabs at one another? This is not the time to take jabs at one another. I'm not saying that you did, but I'm saying that in the comments and all that stuff. So people just need to be a little more graceful and a little more forgiving and a little more understanding that it's all love. And so I need to run. I'm going to turn it back over to Dito. I'm going to leave comments for you, Kev. It's so good to see you. And
you too. Thank you. Thank you.
That's good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you, Ashlyn. I bring up now Jacory Prothro out in Pittsburgh. I mean, I want to throw him in Pittsburgh, in Hercules of California. My guy is in the building. Jacory, I know that you have a question that you would love to pose to Kevin, man. So the virtual floor, man, is now yours.
What I do want to say is I want to say thank you, because I think we're in a day and time where we're not passing history on. So I think what your statement is doing is basically stating that if we want to keep our people alive, we have to teach. Because in today's world, I'm like, even with voting, even with the church, if we want to keep some things alive, you got to keep those names ringing. So I appreciate that. But I had more of a statement because I have been one of the participants from the audience seats watching you. And I have a different respect for you, because the thing is, when you are a ticket watcher and viewer, and then you have those chance to be the backline vein and go through some hallways and some different situations, and you run into some of those people that you've been watching, and they know your name, and they don't have a problem with walking to you to speak to you. I just want to say that you've made me feel like one of the diamonds that were tucked to the side, and I just want to definitely give you your flowers and tell you thank you. Because I mean, when you're aspiring to be what you see and what you're buying tickets to, sometimes you never get approached, or you never, no one ever knows your name. So I just want to say thank you, because you have made me feel like I was Frankie Beverly's left-hand man. You know what I'm saying? And it's not just been 1-2 times. It's been out of my region in Las Vegas and in different places. So I just wanted to say thank you.
You know, I don't ever take this lightly. And And again, we talked about my mother. A lot of what you see comes from the teaching of my mom. And my mother put me in positions where she let me know that humility will always keep you working. Arrogance will keep you broke. And what I learned about that was that, you know, I know in order for you to want to come back and see what I'm doing, I have to first impressionably be somebody that you feel safe enough to feel comfortable with, you know, and a lot of people don't do that. It amazes me, especially in a certain genre. I don't want to get off into that, but it just amazes me how nasty some people can be and how callous people can be, and how, you know, all in the name of God. I just never understood how you can sing and talk and play about this God of love, but can't nobody talk to you in the parking lot. I never understood it. Whereas in the genre that I'm in, I know the benefit of being nice to people and understanding that, and it's not fake or phony. This is just who I am. And I, you know, I'm grateful to God that He allowed me the opportunity to do that. With that being said, people like yourself and other individuals, you know, you deserve respect because you are the guys that are coming behind us. And we have to make sure that you guys are comfortable enough to still be who you are after we take a seat. One of the biggest things that I've known now is that, you know, realistically, we have to be very careful because there are children coming out at 5 and 6 years old that's playing like they've been here 50 years. You know, and they are slowly but kindly letting us know that, you know, as relevant as you think you are, you're not necessarily necessary.
Come on.
So, you know, let's be very clear. So I appreciate that, man. I don't want to, you know, I could talk all day, but I just want.
And I think it's amazing that I can hear your mother in your voice. That she can get all the way there. That is crazy.
Y'all gotta hear us at the house sometimes. I'll sit there, I'll go, Mom, she'll go, It's like that all the time.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. You know, I love the nuggets that you're dropping, man, especially the one that you said, you know, about the humility will keep you working, the arrogance will keep you broke. Man, no truer words have been spoken, man. I mean, granted, you know, I have never played on the stages that you've played on and probably never will. And I haven't sang on stages that, you know, you and Ashley and other people have been on, and I may not ever. But my phone does keep ringing, man. And I'm grateful for the fact that my phone keeps ringing. And, you know, here's the funny thing, and I don't know what your take is going to be on this, Kevin. I'm going to bring Yolanda up in just a second. But I have made it my point as a musician, as a singer, as an MC, host, whatever. For me, I have never had a set fee. This is just me. I have never had a set fee for when people call me. And the reason why I do that is I don't want to ever leave money on the table. And my thing for me, man, is that, okay, somebody may call me this week for this amount that because they can afford that. But I can't discount the person that's going to call me next week that might not be able to attain that amount, but they still have something that is tangible that they're willing to share with me. And the mere fact that they call me and have me in mind, most times, unless I'm already booked somewhere else, I'm going to take that. This is just me. Again, I don't know what you all's thought process is, man, but I've never had a set fee on what I do. And for me, that seems to keep the door yet constantly being open. My phone is still constantly ringing for different things, whether it's singing, whether it's playing, whether it's emceeing. My phone is still ringing for different purposes. Kev, what's your thought on that, man? I mean, you know, you somebody who plays for everybody, but do you have a set fee, or how do you go about that?
I will tell you this, and this is, I'm making a joke, but it is serious. I told everybody, Frankie Beverly messed it up for all of y'all. Frankie Beverly messed it up for all of y'all. Let me say this: how you handle your business is your business.
Absolutely.
You're a person who, and I speak generally, but just speaking to you, and I have a story about Demetrius too. I want to say this before I get off of here because I have to say this to you. But you know, the way I do my fees now, I will be honest with you. And Jakara, you might agree with this. Yolanda's on here. Ashley may agree with it. Is Michi still on here?
Yeah, I'll bring him up. I'll bring him up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. When it comes to pricing and having a set fee, the reality is that there are certain things that now I do them because I want to do them, not because I have to.
Yeah.
And with that being said, if I want to take something that's not normally what I would charge, I will do that. If I want to take something that and dismiss certain things, I will do that. You run your business based on where you are at that time. There's a lot of things happening now where people are asking me, Kev, how much do you charge to maybe do a track at the house? And I would tell them what the regular fee is, and they'll go, wow, really? You that much? And I would say, well, if you cannot pay it, you're not my client. And that's all. That's it. If you cannot accept what I'm charging, then you're not my client. Now, what probably would have saved you from paying that amount is if you said, well, Kev, is there a way we can work it out or whatever? Then you give me the opportunity. I have to use my words differently because I'm trying to talk different now. You know, when you get a little older, you got to say things different. But there are people who will call you and say, hey, Demetrius, can you come and play for me? Yeah, okay, well, the gig is paying this much. They don't get to tell you what they're going to pay you when they're the ones that called you. You didn't call them. So to tell you that we're going to give you what we want to give you for us calling you and asking you because we have a need and we cannot do what we're asking you to do.
Yeah.
I don't think that's fair. I think what they need to understand is they need to open the door and say, how much do you need? Not tell you how much we're going to give you, because basically what they're saying is, this is what we think you're worth. Whereas instead of saying that, all you're saying is, listen, this is what we need. And can you tell us? Because you can't go to a mechanic and he says to change your alternator, I'm going to charge you $700. And you say, well, I'm only going to give you $50 and we're going to work it out. No, he's going to tell you, I'm going to keep your car and you go get another $650 and we can talk. But right now, you're not going to get your car. So it really just depends on the individual. As for me, I just feel like that's something that it's an individual thing. It's not a holistic thing at all.
That's good stuff, man. I like that attitude. I like that thought process. And I even more so like the analogy. That's good stuff, man. That great wisdom is starting to really poke through, brother.
Man, this is just age.
We got Yolanda Morant with us as well. Incredible, vocalist, of course. She does graphic design. She does business on her own as well. But Yolanda, I'm sure, and we'll bring Demetrius back too. I'm sure that you have a question for Kevin Stansel. So Yolanda, the floor is yours, and I'll do what you ask. I'll keep everybody here, but go right ahead.
Hey, I don't know if I have a question, but I know loss, losing a bandmate or losing a leader is a different kind of experience. So, I just think, I don't know if I have a question. I just encourage you to take it one day at a time. And a pastor gave me some really good advice this morning. He says sometimes we live the grief instead of, living what they gave us, living the lessons they gave us, so I would encourage that. Just walking through it, I already hit you up. So it's a day by day process, and when you work for somebody as major as he, the world is always, you're going to hear it every day. Some days you're just not going to want to hear it. You just don't want to hear it no more. You don't want to just turn the radio off or whatever. So, just keep walking through it.
I had to do mine differently. I kept his music on everywhere. I had it on the TV. I had it on all my computers in here. I had it, on my TV in the bedroom. Because I needed to live that. I went through a very heavy depression back last week when we found out, because what a lot of you didn't know is that the organization was on the phone. We got word that he was on hospice, and 6 hours later he died.
Wow.
And you talk about devastating, and I just didn't talk. My house was dark. I just kept stuff off. I was having a hard time, and I got up Wednesday morning and I just shook myself and I said, get up and take a walk. I took a walk. I was talking to, Tanya, I'm just like, I'm having a hard time here. I got to do something. I got to shake myself. And I put one of the songs that we do, during the show, and I started practicing it because I was like, man, I've been playing this song wrong the whole time. Nobody said nothing. I'm doing it all wrong. And so I just went and started practicing that. I put a smile on my face, and I got better after that. So, you know, Frankie was not just a boss. He was like an uncle to me. And what a lot of you didn't know was my father passed away the day before my first show with him.
Wow.
I lost my dad that Thursday. That Friday night, we did the show at Chastain Park in Atlanta. And the whole time people are watching us, I'm looking up at Frankie and people saying, "You look like you playing to your daddy." And I was like, "Don't say that," you know, because they really didn't know what was going on at the time.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
You know, it was hard. But Frankie transitioning last week brought my father's death back up, you know. So I was kind of going through that thing. I'm fine now. I know both of them probably sitting side by side each other going, "That's who you was talking about?" Yeah, that's him right there. You know,
I'm with you, man.
But yeah,
hey, listen, I mean, as we're continuing on with this great show, again, those of you who may have tuned in late, we have our special guest today, the great Kevin Stansel, my guy, originally from the New Jersey area, now abiding in Las Vegas. And we've got my guy Demetrius Hunter in the building, and I know that he has his own relationship.
He got a lot to say.
Just I know it. He has his own relationship with Kevin.
I don't. Man. I've known Kevin for so long. Like, you know, we can sit here and just, you know, go back and forth for hours. Like, it's just, you know, Kevin has really been like a big brother to me from the time he came to the Love Center Ministries and started working with the Young Adult Choir, which I was so privileged to be a part of. And he came in. Now, when Kevin came in, let me tell y'all.
Oh boy!
Y'all know we used to, you know, was used to mag. We used to. Kevin came in and said, "Okay, we're gonna start with a hymn." I said, "A what?"
Wow!
Teach me a song.
Oh wow!
Wow! Lord, yes. And mind you, you know, Cody, we don't do hymns, so you know, I was like him. They know him that loves him, you know, with James Holland and everything else.
Yeah.
But what he was teaching us was the value of music.
Wow.
The legacy of music is what was what I gravitated from that, because it took us out of a comfort zone and took me to a place that I knew of but never really stepped in.
Wow.
We always hear about hymns. Everybody knows there's church hymns and church hymns out there. But my era, we wasn't really singing hymns unless you was at the Baptist church. You know, they were still putting out that good book. But my era, we wasn't singing hymns. And it really taught me a lot, because from there, when I moved to North Carolina at Wells Memorial, they sing out of hymn books. And we sing a hymn every Sunday. And so, you know me, the late Yvonne Smith, she had, you know, passed the baton to me and allowed me to be the music director there. And so, you know, that was the first hymn. I said, "Oh, I know this one." And so, you know, but I learned hymns between him and Corey Terrain. You know, they taught me hymns. Wow. And I think that was something that not only helped me to be more comfortable in my gift, but also find my voice in gospel music. Because if all you're doing is you know, that's all you're gonna know to do. That's all you're gonna know to do. And a lot of times that's all I really knew to do, because that's what everybody wanted. It was vibrato, but it's more to sing it than just vibrato. So I you know, we go way back. You know, Kevin don't definitely taught me some things. Has definitely answered the phone on some late nights when I was having some problems, and never ever judged, never ever went and told my conversation. You know, he'll pray and we just keep it moving. So
I didn't know you knew that about me. And you know, I get quiet like that because I'm like, you know, you never really know how much people are paying attention to you.
Absolutely.
And you know, realistically, like I said, when I was at Love Center, let me be brief. Love Center was not just a training ground, but Love Center was home. Love Center was home. Love Center was home. I'm talking about Scottish Rite Love Center before we got 10,400, you know. That was home. And I think one of the biggest things that Bishop Walter Hawkins taught us was that when you come to Love Center, you leave your judgment hat at the door. And in church, a lot of people will judge you because the light is on you at the moment. But what they end up finding out is that light is big enough to shine on your stuff too.
Absolutely.
And I think one of the biggest things about this is that, you know, it taught me to be very careful about how I handle, because I remember when we first came to James Hall back in '96, and we were at Camden, and we came to the school, and we went inside, and I saw women with leather pants on and red lipstick and wearing all this stuff. I was like, oh my God, my apostolic, you know, denominational judgment came out, and I'm like, oh my God. And you know, I believe God said to me, all right, well, since you talked about him so much, why don't you go be with him? And I went over to Love Center, and I saw some stuff. And what I loved about Love Center was they didn't have to accept you. They chose to. And when I went there and I got there, I learned how to love everybody, because, you know, the truth was everybody loved me, which leads me to this point. Demetrius and I, he started this show and saying we weren't the greatest of friends. Well, let me clear this up, because there's an apology that needs to happen here. But the reality of it was the friendship didn't start off kind of cool because of somebody else's opinion of you. And as a 23-year-old, I felt like, well, if y'all having a problem with him, I'm having a problem with him. But the reality was there were some people who didn't like you because they could not control you. And when I found out that the reason why people didn't like you was because they couldn't control you, they often said that you were hard to deal with because you were not easy to manipulate. And so when I got to that point, I recognized that I needed to apologize to Demetrius, because it was based off of somebody else's opinion. And let me say this, Yolanda, just pray right now, because I want to be sure that people understand that I don't mind. I don't, just in your mind, just pray.
Okay.
Because people know that I'm very quick to say how I feel. But the reality of it is there are a lot of people who are jealous of a lot of us on this live right now, because they are not strong enough to be who they are. So they get upset at people for being who they are.
Facts.
And what ends up happening is that a lot of people will always find something wrong with somebody who's not afraid or ashamed to be themselves. And when you take it upon yourself to think for yourself, you are already a threat to people who don't have a mind of their own.
Absolutely.
So that's why I'm saying to you, Demetrius, I apologize, because back 20 some odd years ago, I operated off of somebody else's opinion, but then I turned around and looked at that person in the same system that didn't like you, ended up not liking me. So what I found out was broken people break people.
Absolutely.
And I started learning that I was attracting broken people. So something was broken me. So I had to get rid of broken people. So I had to go and heal myself. And when that happened is when, you see me on stage with Frankie Beverly right now because I was healed enough to do so. I just appreciate that fact. So I'm apologizing openly to him on here, and because now I'm looking at things, and God has a way of reminding us that you're no bigger than I am.
Absolutely.
And once you pay attention, and I want to say this even about Frankie Beverly, there were a lot of us trying to be stars. But the truth is, a lot of us didn't really get that push of recognition until we got on that stage with him. So we have to understand, nobody's bigger than God, and a lot of us can't be bigger than Frankie Beverly.
True enough.
That's where we are.
I love it, man. First of all, I appreciate that apology. Absolutely accepted, man. We don't have to ever speak on that again, and I appreciate you being man enough to do that. Listen, I am looking up at the clock, y'all. I can't believe it. As you all know, we're not out of conversation. You can tell that, but we're just merely out of time. It's time for us to get ready to go. But before we go, I wanted to take this moment to thank my bro, Kevin Stansel, for being on with us, man. This won't be your last time, man. We're going to have to bring you back again and do our normal format. But we
with his
want to
mom.
thank you for being here. Yeah. Oh yeah. We have to get Lorraine.
Yeah, bring her on. She'll bring her because she's retired now. She got time. So
it's all good, man. We're gonna have to make that happen. On behalf of myself, Demetrius Tofree out in Oakland, California, Yolanda Morant in Charlotte, North Carolina, Demetrius Hunter in Atlanta, Georgia, Ja'Cory Protho and Ashlyn Cole out in Hercules, California. To the next time on this same Shop Talk Network at this same Shop Talk time. We'll do it again next week. You know, you can help me say it. I'll eat kind of holla.